Welcome to Crypto and Stocks TA by No Fomo Charts. Right now it is 7:10 a.m. New York time. It's the AM here in the USA. It's September 10th, 2021. And we're trying a different time zone time today for the stream. It's pre-market right now for the stock market, so we'll do a little bit of stocks and we'll do a little bit of crypto as well. If there's something wrong with the microphone volume, please let me know in the live chat. And this is an educational analysis live stream. If you have a request, please go ahead and put it in the ticker. Put the ticker in the live chat. Appreciate it. Let's get started here. We'll start with Bitcoin, then we'll go to S&P 500. So we'll start with Bitcoin. Bitcoin still has been consolidating to the right 3 days in a row. 3 days in a row. Attempted bull rally, but just turned into a basic bear flag. But we'll get our resistance and support levels up. Resistance, 53,000. Support, 43,000. And then there's a intermediate resistance, 47,400. Immediate support, 45,471. So we're basically playing these levels. There's one more support down here, 44,500. And again, I'm going to keep drawing this so people understand that basically this is what happened with Bitcoin. Okay, so we had, at this point, the news sources are all over the internet of why this happened. So if you're not sure of why the news happened, it's out there now. But technically what happened is we were in the uptrend. Higher high, higher low, high, low, high, higher low, not really. Because right here, we need to hold above 46,800, but we did not. So to me, because of so many daily candle closes, right? Let me zoom in. It's a lower low. Okay, lower low. Right here, the past couple days. So the best case bull scenario for us, best case bull scenario is that we bounce up on confirmed large bull volume whenever that happens, hopefully sometime soon, right, for bulls in the next couple days or weeks, right? Probably bouncing maybe all the way up to 50,000, a nice psychological target. But it's telling that it did not happen yet, so that's suspicious in itself, and we'll talk about that a little later. But if the lower high does not happen in the price action, right, anywhere between 47 and 50, then I'm anticipating, right, this could be our lower high being set right now, and we could go to lower lows all the way to 40,000, right? So bulls, right, a little tepid right now because of what happened. A lot of people, I heard on the internet, they lost money here, got stopped out, or just lost money trying to day trade in this candle on the first and second day. But there were some nice altcoin rallies, which we'll go over later, for example. But we got to zoom in and look at the price right now. As you can see, on the 15-minute BTC USD chart, just consolidating between these two levels in the blue, right here and right here. This is just textbook support and resistance. Okay, I'll just highlight it in the yellow box. This is support and resistance at play. So we can even draw it as a parallel channel. Okay, now we have a middle heart line in there, middle line. And the setup has changed. A couple days ago, if you watched the stream a couple days ago, it could have been an upside down head and shoulders. Attempted, if you look at it on Bitcoin, it's attempted rally, but it failed. It failed. If we're really honest with the charts, right? And we're trying not to get so into emotion or opinion or news or FUD, right? This almost happened on Bitcoin, right? The target I'm talking about, if you didn't watch the stream, could have been 3% to the upside from the breakout, which would have been 47.57, but who knows? Maybe that was already completed right here, the rally attempt. So what happened was we went from almost a little uptrend reversal, and now we're downtrending on the 15-minute. Okay, so I'm going to erase this left side. We're downtrending within the supporter, the resistance and support structure, the parallel channel, basically. So that's important. Okay, it's not over. Everything's not over for Bitcoin, but you know, if I was a swing trader, I would be looking at just this resistance and this support. Day traders have to look a little bit more intraday, right? Just know that in the 15 minutes, we are in the downtrend for now at the time of this video. And that's confirmed by EMA rejections in the price. You can see just rejected here for the past 24 hours. Okay, we can draw the trend line just to get this confirmed. So essentially, if we're going to break out for Bitcoin, let's establish a pivot point down here. So now it's kind of like another symmetrical triangle almost. So now even this could be measured in itself. So anywhere between 1%, 2%, 3%, so 2% average move. If that happens from the breakout triangle, that would bring us back up to 47458, which is our resistance here on the top. If not, could pull back down to the trend line support in the blue dot down here, or our support level down here in the horizontal blue, 45,000. Okay, so anywhere in this blue box down here on the support side could be the bear target. If this is going to continue the trend, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, just like this side on September 8th. Also, we're heading into the weekend. So in America, it's Friday, very early morning, and before stock market opens. So we're heading into a weekend right now. So usually crypto, not always, but demand could fall because traders are taking the weekend off. You know, maybe hedge funds, institutions are closed. Wall Street is closed. Half the markets are closed. So that could contribute to just fading down in the next weekend, or this coming weekend, next couple of days. Right? So you just want to watch out for that. We're going to pierce out of here, 45,264 to hit this bottom side. Right? So again, in conclusion, if we're looking at a 15-minute chart, we need to have a trend change first on the 15-minute, right? With the price in white here. I'll turn it back to candles. So we need to break out, retest here, the support, and retest 47. Bullish case, you know, keep uptrending to anywhere to the 45 to 50,000 range on Bitcoin. If that does not happen, though, the reverse is true. Fading down into the weekend, probably failed retest of 45, and then retesting 44,000 down here. Anywhere above 43,000 is still support because of this wick. These two wicks are the key on the left side. 43,000, 44,000. Okay. One thing I will note though, the daily is not closed yet, but it's kind of hard to see. I need to really zoom in, but just this psychological these 3 days, right? The consolidation, the bear flag. Let's see if we can find that on the charts just as an example. We rewind. It kind of reminds me of this right here. It's kind of hard to see. May 14th, you had some hammer attempt and shooting star, right? But then the third, fourth day, we pulled back down, right? That sort of kind of looks like now. Not saying that's going to happen, because how is that confirmed? If we're going to go down, the shorter term time frames are going to downtrend. They will downtrend, and then we'll see a bear break to the downside. I'm just saying visually on the daily, okay, if we're trying to find patterns, right? You have a big red day, attempted hammer candle day, a doji day or shooting star day, and then the bear break finally, right? There's another one, just as a clue. This could be one as well, right? You have some bear break and then consolidation to the side, right? It's hard to see. But doji candle, hammer candle, and then the bear break down, and then the loss of support, and loss of support, attempted rally, loss of support, and then finally you bottom out. So these scenarios could happen on Bitcoin. So we already have a reference of what could possibly happen. So all we have to do is watch for the support or resistance and the trend on the shorter term time frame. So if you look at a 1 hour, you might not be able to see it clearly. It might take a couple days, but if you're looking at a 15-minute or a 5-minute and just put up the support resistance levels and watching this triangle, and that's all you really need to do, right, for analysis purposes. So we'll see. We have 8 to 10 hour of New York Wall Street trading, and we'll see what they're going to do, right? Let's see what Wall Street's going to do with Bitcoin, what Chicago's going to do with Bitcoin in New York. So that's just some food for thought. Again, this is just analysis, education. This is not financial advice. Okay, let's move on to S&P 500 because it's pre-market right now. Let me change my watch list. And if you have any requests or questions, please go ahead and feel free to ask in the chat. We will look at it. I need to do the S&P 500. Let's look at futures. Look at the mini futures, ES1. Okay, to get some new data. We'll just double check this, that this is actually correct. So yes, we're getting a little bit of a bounce on the futures chart. Okay, that's good. That's good for now. And let's go ahead and chart this. We're on the daily. So our resistance is on the top side, right here, 4538. Again, this is S&P 500 E mini futures, 1 day, ES1 chart for this month. The support, according to the futures chart, 4492. Okay, I'm using a line chart so we can see very, very easily the close, right? We just had this resistance in the past 7 days, fading down to the support. And futures are bouncing today. So, you know, we have a free Discord, and one member was posting some of the news that happened today. So if you're haven't heard yet, the U.S. government did a vaccine mandate for corporations and businesses with over 100 employees, essentially forcing them to vaccinate those businesses with over 100 employees. So that's nationwide here in the USA. So it was a pretty big announcement. So interesting to see that the market reaction for today, at least for futures, is bullish. Okay, the forced vaccinations. I mean, Twitter has a different opinion. We're not going to go into that right now. But it's interesting to see what the market reaction is going to be, because during the announcement happened kind of in the middle of the day at like 10 a.m. New York time. No, excuse me, like West Coast time, 10 a.m. And then, so lunchtime New York, and then President Biden spoke on TV at about 5 p.m. Eastern time. So the stock market was closed. So now we're going to see the reaction to that news. Okay. It's going to be interesting today. Very interesting. So again, I'm not huge on news and FUD, but when the White House releases something, the president releases something, it's kind of important because it doesn't get more official than that. So the Federal Reserve or White House news kind of matters. So, but we don't need to get afraid about it. No need to panic. It's just thinking about the market reaction. Okay, so what you can see here on the bottom trend line on this yellow side, we fell into it today, overnight, right? Asia a little bit, tried to short it down, and then we're bouncing. Everyone's bouncing right now in S&P futures. Decent amount of points. So, and it's a Friday. Very interesting, holding EMA support for Friday. So again, bullish case for S&P 500 is that the bull target is obviously right here. The resistance above at the 4,500 range. Okay, so anywhere between 4,500 and 4,600 could be maybe not 4,600, but 4,550, right? This blue on the top side could be the resistance target if we happen to bounce, right? If this is bullish for the market, then we should bounce. Uptrend, bounce, and retest it. If not, though, the bearish case would be we bounce, but not that high. Set the lower high, fail out of here, and then retest this to continue or create some kind of downtrend, right? So just one green day is not significant enough, except the fact that we might set this pivot point, right? If the next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, this keeps going up, then it is a pivot point, meaning like a bounce, V bounce, right? So we need to watch out for that. But again, we have been faked out too. So futures not always 100% correct, but that's the logic right there. That's the thinking of if it supports, then it should bounce over time up, right? But how high is going to be very critical because we need to break through 45.39 and continue the uptrend to the top side, or else it's just a lower high, and then we'll get rejected. So we want to watch out for that. S&P futures. Just take a quick glance at other futures. Okay, so we're up on NASDAQ futures in this pre-market. Mini Dow futures are up as well. This is looking good for the open. Okay. We have a crypto request. Can I please look at CELO? Yes, let's look at CELO. So I already did a Bitcoin analysis. I might do it again later for people who come later, but let's do Binance. Let me check the KuCoin to see which one has more data before I start. Okay, I'm going to use the OKX because it has the most data going back to July 2020. All right, first thing I would do is go to a long-term chart. So long-term monthly, yes, it has been uptrending, but just getting rejected at the resistance zone right now. If Bitcoin continues to go up, then I expect CELO to continue to go up. But we just saw in Bitcoin right now, basically Bitcoin came down and is bear flagging right now. So unless Bitcoin bounces up, right, then CELO would bounce up. If Bitcoin goes down, then CELO is pulling back as well. So we have to very, very closely watch Bitcoin price over the next week. Okay, so we just know it's in monthly uptrend, or it just got rejected. So it's not really uptrend, it's suspicious, right? And why did we go up? Because we had a reversal pattern here on the weekly. Nice reversal. Some selling action here in the upper, $10 above $6. Okay, now we get into the daily. So what I would do here is I would use Fibonacci because just in case we have a pullback on CELO and Bitcoin. Actually, Bitcoin first, then CELO. So you can see it's copying the Bitcoin chart. because Bitcoin did rally here as well, right? Or rally here as well, and then fading down, pull back, right? So September 7th, the El Salvador pullback is right here, right? Oops, right here, the yellow line, right? So we did bounce. Okay, if we do a baby Fibonacci, as I like to call it, just from the lowest low to the highest recent highest high, it did have a Morningstar pattern and test that 618 resistance on the top side. Interesting though is we had the Morningstar pattern, this right here, the triple candle pattern, okay, but there is significant resistance here on CELO right here at 650. So let me draw that horizontal because it topped out there 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So there's something there on the resistance. Could be a market maker or it could be a bot, right? Programmed to sell at 640. Just scroll down here. Okay. And again, we have the support 386. So if we look at two scenarios for CELO, okay, I'm not going to really go super in depth on the intraday. Let's just because of what, because I know this is an altcoin. It really, really depends on the Bitcoin price. It's probably very strongly correlated with Bitcoin in terms of price action. So, if Bitcoin just ticks down a few percent, we can see altcoins, pull back significantly. So that always happens with Bitcoin. So we could draw some trend lines here, right? We have support and resistance. But again, what's the prevailing trend? We might have to switch to a weekly to see. This is kind of choppy as well. There's this setup, but higher high, higher low, higher high. It did establish a higher low at above 380, right? So just like Bitcoin, the setup is, will we create a lower high, right? This part, lower high. We tried yesterday and today, 640 is the resistance, right? So the bull case would be if Bitcoin bounces up, CELO will probably follow through and maybe target $7 or 780. But we don't want to get too hyped and excited about that, right? Because the bear case would be here, right? Reject down and probably tighten up or fall back down to $4 or $5, right? So this is kind of looking like some kind of larger consolidation pattern, larger symmetrical triangle possibly, right? Because it went up, down, and just rejecting from the top side here at 560. So I wouldn't be surprised if CELO pulled back. If you really want to make sure, and this is probably the last thing I'll say about CELO, is then you would have to look intraday for the momentum of the price, right? Just keep checking. Yes, we did. So we did have a 1 hour uptrend and we're pulling back now 15 minutes. It was a 15-minute price uptrend, high, low, high, low, high, but then we lost the higher low. So right now is the problem. Just overnight, today, the past like 8 hours or so, 8 or 10 hours, right? So you could visually see the short-term price trend line was violated to the downside. So at some point you might see a little bit of a bounce, right? Retest and then pull back down to 473 or retest to $5, right? Because we lost the uptrend. Now it's a lower low. Now the question is, how low are we going to go? And then where are we going to bounce up to? So, and it's very highly correlated with Bitcoin. So that's the basic support resistance trend analysis for CELO. I hope that helped in some way. Next, Ethereum. Let's look at Ethereum. I use a Bitstamp chart. And if you guys, if you have more requests, please let me know. So here we go. Ethereum. So just remember that, yes, Ethereum has been a bit of a lead bull, right? Leading even higher than Bitcoin. But at the same time, it's still an altcoin. We have to remember that. It's still an altcoin. It's not, Ethereum doesn't exist in its own universe. So same reasoning applies. If Bitcoin pulls back significantly, then Ethereum will probably pull back as well. It's in the same industry. So we got rejected double top on Ethereum, and the upward sloping trend line was violated to the downside, broken, I mean. And we have top side trend lines as resistance. So we hit that resistance point on the top, pulled back. It's actually a higher low technically. Bitcoin's price fell like down below the support level right here, but Ethereum is trying to hold above that resistance point. So it has that positive going for it. But same deal. We try to bounce and make a lower high. Let me zoom in here so we can see. But the third day, yesterday, it did not happen. So to me, this is a little concerning, right? Because if we're going to make a Morningstar pattern, it should come down, second candle, and then third candle up, right? So the Morningstar pattern failed on that. And now, it is kind of angling down. So it's not such a clean triangle, right? I'm talking about the past like 3-4 price candles. So where would our support and resistance be? Resistance is 4,000 US dollars on the top side. Immediate support 3,331. Longer term support 3,000 on the downside. And you could also probably see 2,500 somewhere in there. Welcome everybody. 2,500 down there on the price. Right, so we did go from an uptrend on the daily, higher high, higher low, higher high, trying to make a higher low. But at the same time, reversals, this is how reversals start, right? Lower low, and then a lower high rejection, and then a lower low loss of support. So those are the two scenarios. Bull, we have to bounce up to probably 3,748 resistance. If not, we're going to pull back down, retest everything in this blue box down here, right? And again, the examples, right? This kind of looks similar right here on May 17, where red, we had one attempt and then we failed down, but that was on the China minor news. So that was a lot of fear right there and selling, panic selling. But what we should have happen is something like this, a Morningstar pattern, the 3 candle pattern. That happened on altcoins, like other altcoins like Algo and Atom and even ICX. But Ethereum didn't really happen. And it could be because Ethereum had such a nice run. It's still up 100, almost 100% from the July 21 low, 80, 90%. So that could be why. Maybe Ethereum bull is just waiting for the resistance or support to form. But again, if you zoom in on a 15-minute just to see the price, right, you could just see the consolidation happening right there. Let me redraw the 2 lines. Now we're just stuck in the golden box of resistance and support. So the same reasoning applies to Bitcoin is what is the trend? Even on the 15-minute, we were downtrending right into the crash. We try to reverse, make a higher low, failed consolidation, and now we're fading down on the 15-minute. Lower low, lower high, lower low. So I wouldn't be surprised if we faded down a little bit into today and tested this 3,300 range, this blue support on the bottom. I would not be surprised if that happened because that's the angle of the downtrend. So the bull scenario would be, actually start with the bear scenario. Bear scenario down, red scenario would be lower high, lower low, maybe a lower high, and maybe one more lower low to test the bottom side. Anywhere above 3,200, 3,300. If bulls are going to try to save Ethereum, we need to buy now, or not now, but at some point, trend change reversal, right? Higher high, higher low, and break out of this support range and retest 3,500, 4,000. It's going to take quite a bit of bull volume, and the volume is really tiny on my screen, but after the bid, we had a climax sell-off, so bulls are tepid right now. We're not seeing climax buying right now on Bitcoin. So, because I think conservative traders were watching, people are watching for the break. It's just the box. of the price, and that means support or resistance. So that's the bull case and the bear case for Ethereum. I hope that makes sense. Longer term, just really, really quick, right? You could set some Fibonacci levels as well, right? There's more support or resistance levels, right? You could just put up a Fibonacci and we see, okay, we bounce from the 382 to the 3236 retrace, right? If we pull back, test 382, Fibonacci, 50%, 618, right? Those hidden support levels, it's all there, right? And if you use moving averages, this applies for like every single coin. If you use moving averages, you can see the targeted downside right here, -6, -15, -27% to the downside eventually for next 3 months. If we downtrend, that's the bear case. If we go up, we're going to retest 4,000. So that's the upside, 3,500, 4,000. Okay, welcome everybody. Solana, hope that answered your question. Solana USD. So I need to use one that has pretty good amount of data. Might be, no, definitely not OKCoin. Let me use just Binance. So I'm looking at Sol USDT. Okay, the issue with Sol is first, we need to understand where it came from. So, we can't just look at one candle in space. We have to understand where it came from. So I'm looking at a weekly chart, okay? There's a lot of drawings from yesterday. Let me erase all of them. Right? Higher high, higher low, higher high. So basically, Sol trying to find the higher high, and we might have found it on the daily, right? So again, keep in mind, Sol is correlated with Bitcoin. Whatever Bitcoin does, Sol will be influenced, but it's not perfect correlation because you saw Bitcoin crash, right? And then Sol went parabolic. So it's not perfect. But I'm saying longer term, like if Bitcoin were to crash -50%, probably Solana might not be able to survive that in the uptrend, I mean, right? So this is great for Solana bulls. And if you're asking where it's heading, we can find out. So we have to first put up some support and resistance. We have a trend, right? Trend lines. And I was calling this yesterday in this stream, or 2 days ago. This used to be a green candle. It used to be just a solid green candle, and then we sold off. So I said, if we have a shooting star up here, that would be yellow flag for Solana, right? It's not always perfect because you had a shooting star here and we kept going, but there are additional clues here, because Solana had many weeks of bull climax, right? Bull buying with no pullback on the weekly. So that is suspicious in itself, right there, right? And then on the daily, somebody could make a case that we did see a 5 pattern Elliott wave, right? Or maybe the third one is somewhere up here, right? Right? The third has to be longest, so it could look like that, right? If not, it looks like it just might consolidate and pull back, okay? And the clue are in the candles, because this candle right here is the El Salvador Bitcoin crash day, and then we tested a support level and bounced, but this is a hanging man hammer right here, the second candle. So we had large doji into hanging man into shooting star. That's 3 reversal signals in a row for Solana on the daily, right? It's kind of like this one, sort of, right? Shooting star, doji, and then weak hanging man, and then you consolidate it to the right and hit the trend line. It doesn't mean it's over forever, but this definitely is starting to feel like over exhaustion, and this looks like some kind of buying climax, large volume, and fading down with Bitcoin in these past 2 days, including today. So if we put our resistance right here, let's say our resistance at the top of this wick, $215 US, The immediate support is 175. Immediate resistance 197. All right. What we want to watch out for, and the day's not over yet, we're heading to the weekend, but if this turns into an evening star pattern, right, it's here, that would go down, most likely. So Solana on the daily already giving us clues, right? And if you look at the EMA, if you bring up your moving averages, plenty of room for Solana to pull back and still be in an uptrend. It could pull back all the way down here and be in a weekly uptrend, all the way to $83. So because this is the higher low minimum requirement that bulls need to hold above, we can pull back significantly, right? And again, it's crypto, so we can never say never, right? That would be pretty extreme though, negative 50%. Something really bad has to happen. So the first target is just right here on the daily, 152, probably for the next week or two. And the way to confirm this as well is if we just really zoom in on the price. So the 4 hours is finding support. This is going to start looking a little messy with all the colors. So I'm going to change the price to white. Just see it as a line, right? So you can see 4 hours still uptrending. That's okay. But finding support on the EMAs. If you go to 1 hour, right, still uptrending, but getting a little choppy. Okay, getting a little choppy, pulling back to the 100 EMA. 15-minute getting even a little more choppy. Right, that's kind of hard to see now. So what I would watch for is just probably the 1 hour, the 4 hour, probably the 1 hour, right? If we start losing the uptrend, like you can see it right here, it's uptrending, right? How do we see a reversal? If this pulls back significantly and we have a lower high bounce, that would be a reverse, probably a reversal signal. You might have a head and shoulders, or if that doesn't happen, you just set a lower high and then lower low and start fading over time, right? So even if you don't draw any of these indicators that I have up here and erase this yellow line, you could probably set this and have it make sense, right? It's just falling back down to that 1 hour trend line support on the price. Okay, you can see it's just in a channel, basically, upward sloping channel on Solana, right? So are we going to retest the lower 200 EMA? It's right at the 1 hour support, but again, keep in the broader mindset that Bitcoin, if Bitcoin falls down below Bitcoin resistance, remember that box we just drew? If Bitcoin falls down and breaks down, this is probably falling down and breaking down at some point, right? Unless Solana bulls say no and keep buying, then that would bring us up on Solana. So really, it's really about just that possible correlation with Bitcoin, and then if Solana bulls are exhausted or not. So very nice run we had here. Although, there was some of that pullback divergence on the RSI. And just checking the price here. Yeah, so if we're going to go up, you probably want to see something like this on the 5-minute, the support bounce. It might happen, but we just need time. Okay, there's so many ways you can try to play this, right? Are we going to break out of this little wedge? That would be great for Solana bulls, and then retest 200, 215. If not, you're going to watch out for the bear break. So at this moment in time, all I can say is it is at the 1 hour trend line support because there is no price information on the right side. It's just we are at the 15-minute and the 1 hour trend line support line. So it's just a matter of, do we bounce? Great. If not, then fading pullback on Solana. And then you zoom out, and then if we start going down, you'll be able to see, oh, the downside target would be 152 and then 120. And if that all fails, 100. If that fails, 80. If that fails, 50. Right? It's just telling that these last three candles, two candles, very suspicious looking on the daily. Hope that helps. Okay, AVAX PNG. Where do I see retracements? Okay, this one I've never seen AVAX before, so this could be a really interesting chart. AVAX PNG. Could you be a little bit more specific with AVAX because I cannot find AVAX PNG? There's AVAX USDT. That's probably the one I should use. I'll just use AVAX. Oh, retracements for Sol. Yeah, so then if we, let me bring up a different chart so we don't erase that. Okay, this doesn't have enough data. Huobi, okay. So then retracements, I would do it like this. Let's get my Fibonacci up. Boom, right there. Or you could do wick to wick because it is crypto and did top out. This chart looks different. You see the candle's different, right? It's not a shooting star for the Huobi chart. So that's telling in itself. But retracements, yeah, you could do EMA retracements. I mean, it really depends. But if we're talking about fib retracements, this is what I would do. You have the 236 level at 170, 170, 382, 141, 50% retrace 117, 618 at 95, 786, $63, 0.88 at $45. So someone going for deep value on Solana, if you're going for deep value, $100, you might see a bounce at 120, right? Because the only visual support is this box, 60 to 75, right? So if someone's like a long-term investor, I mean, you want the lowest price possible to go long on Solana. So going long right now is not the lowest price possible on Solana for educational purposes. Those are the retracements. And again, that trend line. So the first one is probably like upper 140s, 150, 160, 170 in the blue circle. That's probably the first spot because it's trend line and Fibonacci support. Okay, great. Yeah, because I'm in the USA, so um, in the USA we don't have a lot of international crypto anymore. That changed in 2019 with Binance. So I'm just gonna pick the Binance one. Um, we'll do AVAX USDT. Right. Hopefully this is the crypto you're talking about, AVAX. And we'll just do a quick analysis on AVAX. So AVAX though, first thing I'm seeing resistance right at $56.52 right there. We already hit the nice the resistance point, and now it's actually fading on a daily. So gotta watch out for that. Literally weekly double top. I mean, this was the retracement in itself, right? Higher high, higher low, test it. Okay, the two for the last 2 weeks, right? Shooting star and then a hanging man candle, and then a big hanging man candle for this week. This week's not over though. But there's different ways to analyze it. Somebody could say, wait, it's a bull flag. Okay, yes, it is a bull flag. But also in the larger context of Bitcoin, this is Bitcoin consolidation. It's still technically short-term downtrending on the daily right at resistance. Okay, so it's not uptrending anymore. It used to be uptrending. But this is the reversal. Lower low and then lower high. This lower high set the downtrend. Lower low, lower high, lower low, even lower high, lower low, and then rally, but still at the time of this video, still lower high. So we would set it in between here. It's right at the resistance trend line. So the crash really was an interesting spot to buy a lot of altcoins. And what I'm also seeing here is if it's at that pivot point, we could draw multiple other trend lines as well. So AVAX, I would be a little careful on AVAX just because of the daily. It's already in a daily downtrend because SOL was different. Solana 1 week ago, it's still in its uptrend. It's not over yet. It might start pulling back, but AVAX is different. AVAX already in its downtrend. And this is just, day traders buying the bottom of this support, swing traders, day traders. So if we start preparing for retracement, if it happens, right, I'm on a log scale, by the way, right? We pierced that 50% retrace and bounced up to 382 and 236. Nice rally, but right at the trend line support. I mean, a resistance, excuse me, literally right there. So if it's going to be bull case, if it's going to uptrend, needs to higher high, higher low, higher high, break out of here and break through 2 resistances, or actually 5 resistances, and get out of there and try to target 70, 7,500. That's probably if Bitcoin rallies. But if this, for instance, in the next couple days stops here and makes a wick, like a little stick up here, then I would target the downside, right? You could just keep fading down. That's one scenario that could happen. And again, how you could tell is just looking at the intraday price. And there's a lot of lines, so we'll erase it. Right, so on the 15-minute, it is uptrending. That's good, right? But it's in the larger context of a downtrend, daily downtrend. So I wouldn't get my hopes up yet. Volume, yes, volume can give clues. I think this on multiple time frames. So for instance, the 4 hour is losing bull volume. It's actually decreasing, right? We had this reversal support, higher high, higher low, and right at the resistance. So it's possible we might see a bull break, right? This might not be over. But when you start to see it reversing and then all of a sudden you make a lower low, lower high, then it's probably the start of the reversal. At some point, it might happen up here in the upper $40 to $50 range. So yeah, it actually might go up, pierce it, and then pull back down. That's what it looks like it wants to do, but you know, it's already kind of made its move. It's not completely done, but this uptrend has been here for very, very sensitive day traders to price. It's been here. There was 2 support levels, and now we're at a resistance level. Somebody could say, wait, this is a 5-minute ascending triangle. That's why it's possible, right? Just remember, though, it's in the larger daily downtrend. So high, low. This might break out, maybe retest and try to go here. So if that happens, good. It's good for AVAX. Okay, so we'll move on. All I'll say about this for all cryptos too is that the daily gives us that big picture, but intraday can go either way. It's just a matter of buyers and the price if it keeps going up or not. All right, let me do the. Let me just go real fast. I think I spent too much time on altcoin. Okay, dot. I think that's where I stopped. Dot. DOT. Just going to use USDT on the Binance chart. Okay, dot. Our first thing I'm seeing is there's a resistance zone right here. Okay, from the previous $40 range. So it's not like AVAX where it went right into the resistance. This actually looks almost like Bitcoin. So I would be careful of DOT because it looks literally like the Bitcoin chart, like a copy. So I want to watch out for that, the correlation with Bitcoin and DOT. So we did fall out of the very steep upward wedge or channel. And the pullback, and it's retesting the bottom resistance trend line right now, today. So terms of trend, high, low, high, low, high. It did make a higher low, just barely. Nice. And now it's about, will it be a lower high and get rejected from right here at $33? If that happens, I'm expecting a pullback down to support, which is down here on this blue. So those are two big levels I would play for. 32 and 26 for whole numbers. And I'll watch Bitcoin very closely on that. It literally looks the same as Bitcoin, very similar, except it already started its test of the support level. Yeah, it's looking a little bit choppy. Yes, again, for short term, it's the 15-minute uptrend. It's kind of the same story for a lot of altcoins. But this one has higher highs and higher lows. Bitcoin doesn't look like this part in the circle. That's the difference. That's the difference right there. So just very simply, what I would watch for on DOT on the 5-minute 15 price is the resistance and support levels, right? There's another one here. High, low, high, low, high, low. If we pull back even to 30.66, you're still fine. Or the price is still fine, not a trader, but the price is still fine because it's a matter of will the bulls buy it right here on support, because it could go high, low like this. But if not, if this is the reversal we're talking right now, it needs to make a lower low, lower high, and reject out of here. So as long as it's still uptrending, the price is probably okay. So I'm trying different times to go live. Yes, but usually because I'm in USA time, I do it in kind of like the USA hours. This is a very rare case where I'm going super very early in the morning. Um, okay, so let me try to go a little faster here. Cardano, AUD, okay. Cardano, Australian dollar. I'm gonna use the Binance chart. Okay, so we're on 80A AUD, Cardano AUD. Oh, thank you so much, Electronic Liam or Lamb. Really appreciate that. Thanks so much for watching and following for the coins. Appreciate that. Hope this helped you in some way. And this is your request. Okay, so Cardano AUD. So we hit this resistance right here basically at 410. So the big picture is 410 right there. What I would watch out for, again, it's a triple top resistance. That is not good in terms of the resistance levels right there. Right? And then we did pull back. So the good thing is we do have this previous high over here and this pullback. So we have a support level visually, we have a support level. So 290, so $3 and 265 Australian dollars would be the support, right? It already tested that level and bounced back up. But this is starting to, if you include the wicks, candle wicks, this could be a double top and it's measurable to the downside. So I'm not saying this is going to happen, but in a bad case scenario, it could pull back 30% down to $2 if that pattern is real. But knowing the Cardano bulls, that might not happen right away unless something catastrophic happens with Cardano. The more realistic spot, it's probably going to go sideways and just stay somewhere here in the upper $3 range. So it could pull back down to $3 and maybe retest just like DOT and try to pull back. So, but this already is some kind of rounding top action. Because if Cardano bulls ADA AUD was really going to uptrend, it should have went like this. High, low, high, low, high, low, and not stop. It needs to go higher, high, higher, low like Solana. The problem here is it consolidated to the side and then you had a bear breakdown on the El Salvador news. So that is a problem on the chart. So it was negative 20% down from the break break down, and we hit that target, and then we bounced up. So that pattern is over. And there's some kind of X marks the spot zone where you have this support and you have the trend line. So somewhere right here is going to be possibly um, the target on the bear side. So this is the bearish view first, $3 to the downside. If we don't bounce up, then it's probably going straight down there to $3 area. That's the bear view. The bull view is that we bounce up, Bitcoin goes up and everything goes up. Altcoins go up and we bounce up to create a lower high. Best case scenario for this is if it's going to trend change, it needs to make a lower high, but then a higher low, tighten up, basically create a little sideways triangle and then break up, break out, up to $4 and $4.50. It needs to do that. But again, the Cardano AUD chart looks different than the Cardano USD chart, for example. Cardano USD chart looks different, right? So I guess the US dollar version had a bull break and went up instead of down. So going back to the AUD chart, right? It's different on the daily. Just go back and forth. Oh, excuse me. I was looking at a weekly chart. Excuse me. Retract that. Actually looks pretty similar, but the overall targets is pretty much what I said. The resistance up here, $4, and then support down at $3. Those are the basic two levels that we're playing off of. Quick glance at the weekly. Right, the week's almost over for crypto. So this is some kind of potential topping out reversal pattern. Right here, this candle right here is the clue. You have a hammer hanging man candle going into an attempted large hanging man candle. And those are two reversal signals. But we did quickly test the weekly support, so that happened very fast. So the two basic scenarios is like that. Also, though, if you want longer term, if you're trying to get the best value possible for the next year or 2 years, then I'll be looking. So obviously, the best price would obviously be down here somewhere, $1.44, or even lower than that would be a great relative discount for Cardano. But if it's not going to crash all the way, if we're not having a massive crypto crash in the next couple of years, then trendline support would be the first day trading probably spot. Then maybe 50% retrace, 272, 240, 786, like $2. This would be an interesting spot, $2, because there's a previous level of support here. And the ultimate spot, anywhere in the dollar range. So I hope that helps. Yes, we did test that. We did test that support level, but we should have gone up by now, right? It's just, maybe bulls got wrecked and people got hurt, but their accounts got hurt, and so bulls don't want to buy right now. It's possible. That's the psychological aspect of that, right? Because if this is a hammer, this should have gone up by now. So we might see a lower high bounce. It's possible, but it hasn't happened yet for this whole week. So that's what I watch out for. So in conclusion, are we going to bounce off the support, lower high? If that doesn't happen, then break down to see a lower low. Do I know any good bridge trackers? I don't know what bridge trackers are. Let's move on to the next one. Appen, APX. APX AUD. Here we go. This is good because I've never even heard of this coin before. Can I even find it? I should be able to find it. Is Appen, is this a stock? Is it a stock or a crypto? What's the exact ticker for it? It should be APX, right? I'm looking at it right here. Is this correct before I start? APX right here. Is this the correct one? Thank you, Electronic Lamb. Really appreciate it. Okay, I'm just gonna presume this is the correct one here. APX. So when I type APX AUD, I don't see anything. And the company name is Appen. Okay. So here we go. Appen Limited APX and AUD. First thing right here. First thing right here. APX is in a downtrend. That's 100% confirmed on the daily. Okay, a lot of these lines, this is just earnings and dividend and or split numbers. It's earnings and dividends, but how do we know? It's you could draw the top side trend line right here, right? Or this one here. The second one makes more sense. It's just stuck, downtrending. And so with stocks, if this is a stock, this company, then the fundamentals definitely come into play in terms of financial numbers, the who the executive officers are at the company, meaning the executive board, the CEO, CFO, COO, company products, right? All of that comes into play. So how I would analyze this is first understand the trend. It's a daily downtrend, also weekly downtrend. So that's double downtrend. Um, and the next thing I would look for is support and resistance levels. So this company, so this is a perfect example actually. This is a really good example of trend reversal on the weekly chart or even a daily chart because for 6 years it went up, or 5 years went up, and so even the weekly trend line was just straight up parabolic. And then just like Bitcoin right now on the weekly, right, on the daily, this trend line was violated, you broke down out of it, you made lower low, lower high, lower low. So this is the weekly downtrend starting in 2019, 2020 on this company. And then we tried to bull break up, but hit a resistance at the $45 range, and now it's downtrend because it's going downstairs. You can also draw the trend line here like that. Okay, so sometimes the reversal signal, this was not a very, very clear reversal signal, but on the daily chart, right, you could probably just put a resistance, what I like to call resistance box. It's the resistance zone on the top. And then it got rejected down from that. So the clue here was August 2020, when this started downtrend, August 2020 to January 2021 started downtrending, and that was the red flag. It just broke down through all this support on the left side. So pretty serious. So something must have happened. Even if I don't know the news or the company, something must have happened here. Besides pandemic, for the company to downtrend that hard, it could be correlated with the index as well. But now you might be wondering, well, okay, well, how far is it going to go down? So this is where I would use Fibonacci retracements. I'm on a weekly, so I could get all the numbers, right? So I'll go swing high to swing low. I'm on a logarithmic chart right now. That's why it looks kind of stretched out. And so here we have our secret 786 support level in the blue, 786, and then 0.88. So those are the two downside targets that I'll be watching on this stock. Although there is bullish divergence on the weekly, right? So it could bounce up at some point. The earnings was not that great for the EPS on this particular company, unfortunately, right? The weekly is potentially setting something up, but with weekly setups, it could take so long to actually follow through. So even though this looks like some kind of potential play here as an investor, there's bigger issues at play with the stock. So there's for instance, the US stock market, vaccines, Delta COVID variant, COVID-19, pandemic, unemployment benefits, like job labor market, all that stuff has been announced the past week or so. And already the market index, like for the S&P 500 and Dow Jones, is kind of looking like it's at this kind of zone, sort of right here. Like we just bounced up one, but it's kind of suspicious in terms of, are we going to keep going up here in the US stock market or not? So there is hope, though. It's not 100% over for this company because there is some kind of weekly setup here. But what we need to have before that happens, though, is the trend change. Okay, so it's probably not just going to be a V-shaped bounce recovery like that, right? That would be very interesting if that happened. Usually what happens is, let me erase the Fibonacci, right? This is a technique my mentor taught me. So most people might know this, but when you have a downward sloping trend line or two downward sloping trend lines, right? What will be the clue is when it breaks out of the trend line and it retests it down, and then you have a trend change. So that would mark the reversal signal on this stock, APX, on this company. So if it does not do that, then I would probably keep downtrending all the way down to 650 or so range, $76 Aussie dollars, Australian dollars down here. So it's very suspicious, right? Resistance 1366, 966 support. There's all these ranges. I mean, the lowest low of the company was 677. So sometimes stocks like to do that. They like to retrace. Oh, excuse me, that's not the bottom price. There's a gap resistance though. Right? So sometimes stocks, in a really, really bad case, will retest all the way the bottom of its price. We've seen some American companies do that, go down to sub dollar in terms of cents. So there is something here very interesting. But what I would watch for if you're an investor is the trend change. This downtrend needs to stop first. And it needs to bottom out. Whichever way it's going to do that, it could bottom out, find a support level, and just stop going down. If it goes sideways, that's actually good. But if it goes higher high, higher low, break out of here, higher highs, then that would be some interesting reversal signal on APX. Okay. So I hope that helps with the analysis right there. Are there any other requests or questions? I know I've been going an hour and I've been kind of going slow. I usually go faster than this. But let's see, just recap. We covered SPY, we covered Bitcoin, altcoins, a little bit of stocks. What else is global? We can look at gold. So we look at gold spot. I'm on the US dollar daily Oanda chart. And the thing with gold is, right, we have to start zoomed out first. So I'm on a weekly, and it already hit the resistance zone. Kind of reminds me of some of the altcoins we looked at today. Right, it rallied up, it retraced down, rallied up into the resistance zone up here, and then faded down. Right, so technically, this is a weekly downtrend because this was uptrend gold on this side. Now it's a downtrend on this side. But someone might say, but wait, we're setting the higher low. Okay, yes. So low, high, but then higher low. So this could be a reversal spot for gold. What I would do though is set the resistance and support levels, those three, 1900, 1765, 1688, right? Because you broke out of this downward trend line, just like the APX stock. Like this needs to happen with APX. Right? It's downtrending, and then you break out and retest downtrending, you break out, you retest. That's the clue. But it's a weak rally because this should have went like higher high, higher low, and higher high. It should have went up, but it did not. So that could have been a failed attempt by gold spot. Also, somebody might say, wait, isn't this upside down head and shoulders? It might be a pattern, but it's kind of messy, so I'm not going to call it that. So we just look at the price. Just look at the price. So if we look a little carefully, like a little closer, it was downtrending, breakout, but then pulling back. So it's already in a daily downtrend. Lower low, lower high, lower low. Just barely lower high because it's at that resistance. Got stuck here, 1841. It's kind of choppy. It's not the greatest setup. It's another downward sloping channel or wedge for gold. So then the bear case on the bottom side would be 16, maybe 1700, just right here, this little blue dot down here, X marks the spot down here. For the bearish case down there, if gold is going to break out and go bull, it needs to break out of here, this channel, retest, and go higher. So we could measure this technically 4%. Okay, so the bull target on the top side, 4% up, would be our resistance level, this gray line, 1910. So that's the bull target. 4% total breakdown, even from the loss of the support, will be 1627 down here, right there. But the first, there's a middle support line here as well at 1750. So it's not just going to go straight down like that. It's probably going to downtrend. So I want to watch out for that. Okay, I think somebody also said Bitcoin up here at some point. Oh, whoa, there's a lot of, okay, wait a second. There's a lot of comments that I, for some reason, didn't see in the chat box. I was wondering why nobody's saying anything. Let me back up here for a second. Okay, oh, DXY. App in style, okay. DXY, we'll look at DXY. Okay, okay, so they might have some negative report. Merger acquisition. We just looked at Cardano ADA. Okay, so I think I stopped at DXY. So the chat box got frozen. So that's where we are with gold. We already covered Cardano, DXY. Okay, so this is US dollar currency index, and this is from a different class. But basically, the support and resistance levels still hold. So I'll start from 2020, the early 2020 crash and the bounce on DXY. So we bounced up, right? It wasn't a downtrend, the DXY, lower low, lower high, to here, and then we double bottom. This was the big clue. When I saw this double bottom, I said, something suspicious, this could be bad for US stocks. So the only problem is yes, we did retrace the whole parallel channel move. And for me, I'm thinking more big term picture. So it is just barely trying to hold on to some kind of trend. It used to be uptrend, not anymore though. So this very, very quick trend change. Higher high, high, low, high. And then went higher low, but then lower high. So it's some kind of pullback. So the downside bear target would be the middle of the parallel channel, 9142. Like there. The bull target, if we're going to go up, okay, you might find support here, right? It's like megaphone pattern, that opening, broadening wedge formation. So if we find support, we could keep going up in the DXY, which would mean maybe some kind of pullback in the stock market. So this is not really that clean of a picture. right? It used to be clean, and then the failed breakout of the pattern. So super bull target would be 4% up if we do happen to break out from this pattern, which is the top yellow line here, on the way up here at 97. If it doesn't, then it's going to happen like what's happening right now is we just get stuck. This is some kind of ugly consolidation on the price, right? It's not a very clean trend. So bulls and bears fighting at this point. So instead of doing super bullish targets, it's just I would just stick with the resistance and the support. So resistance at 93.31 and support at 92. Very simple. And then it's in the open megaphone pattern, price pattern. That's what I watch out for. Yep, just right on that support. So I hope that helps. What happened in Labor Day? For Bitcoin, there's a lot of things that happened. So just really quick recap on Bitcoin. Why did we crash? From my memory, this big red right here, why did this happen? Right here. It's because El Salvador, CELO news event country, they went live with their Bitcoin, and there's a little bit of problem with their wallet. Over leveraged longs, too many people long. Then we had the flash crash. It was, you could see it on the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute. It started downtrending. There were reversal signals, but nobody knew it was going to crash this hard, right? There wasn't like some clear big head and shoulders or anything like that pattern. It was there though on the 15 minute if we look back. And then the shorts attacked. Probably futures and options, Chicago futures trading pushed it down as well. Stop losses getting triggered. Snowball effect, dominoes falling over in the market. Then algorithms and bots really trying to capitalize on the shorting and selling as far as possible. And then the bots flipped. Algorithms flipped and they went long and they closed out this spot. But now we're stuck at the 46,000 range. Still going sideways. So that's the general play-by-play. That's probably what happened in the market. And then there's fear, uncertainty, doubt, right, of this, because bulls are not coming back. May 19, bulls came back. That's the difference. But it didn't finish that high, but at least bulls came back, right? This is that May 19. So you see the big red candle, the Dogecoin crash, and then the 90 to 50%, or was it 50%? On Bitcoin is 40%. Doge was something like 90% bounce, but then it still failed over the next couple days, right? So if we just look at Bitcoin right now, is where is that Morningstar pattern? It did not happen. So then it looks like it might not happen soon, right? Because the second or third day, we should have really rallied up. The third day, we should have rallied up to make the Morningstar pattern, but that did not happen. So that's why I'm getting a little bit more suspicious of this pattern right here, because all we have to do is the demand falls over the weekend next week, then price is going to fall down. Okay. More likely. BlackBerry Limited TSX. Okay. The TSX version. Okay, BlackBerry. Well, first thing I'll say, BlackBerry is a meme stock, MEME. And so it's related to GameStop. So GameStop, just really quick, GameStop had the earnings yesterday and it was basically half bad. Or 2 days ago, the earnings, 1 or 2 days ago, September 8th, 2 days ago. So the earnings were bad. It crashed down negative 10%, but then rallied up again. So we just have to think of it like this. GameStop became the Bitcoin of meme stocks. GameStop is like a Bitcoin. Then everything else, meme stocks, are like altcoins, sort of, right? But they're real companies. So if GameStop, AMC, and some of these big meme stock titans don't go up, then there's less chance for the smaller companies, the originals like a BlackBerry or Nokia, to go up as well. So we have to just there's a correlation. So the cascade is the broader market index, like Dow Jones, S&P 500, and then GameStop, AMC, and then like BlackBerry and Nokia. So just now that we have that in our minds, the framework, because the price action, the chart looks almost the same, right? If you go back and forth, so it's very highly correlated. Also, the what happened yesterday is almost the same. So I have to watch out for BlackBerry. Did I pick the right chart? Should be the TSX chart, yeah. So CAD, Canadian dollars. BlackBerry supposedly next earnings report on September 23rd, 13 days from now. So you want to watch out for that. BlackBerry, I would look at a weekly, and we can see the trend line here. Okay, I'll check that one next if I can find it on TradingView. All right, so there's two trend lines here, and there's also this equilibrium kind of gigantic symmetrical triangle. So we'll just put that one up on the weekly, right? So this is what I would draw. If there's a pattern, I would draw the pattern first. But remember, it's literally pointing right into their earnings line. So the earnings will make or break. So I'll be very careful for BlackBerry earnings, depending on GameStop as well. But if we measure this, conservative 10%, liberal 102%, and then mega 300%. So maybe 50% might be the first target, right? Or just the top of this wick, which is actually 50%. So $20 could be the top side bull target, but also the inverse is true because symmetrical triangle. So it could go up or down. It might not go 50%. So I would use a conservative target, 20%. So we could redraw that. 20%, 60, 52. 20, it could go 20% in one day if it wanted to. So these are the targets. Bull target, 17 and 20. Bear target, 1069. And this is what it looks like on a normal chart. That's how I'd analyze that. But I would be very careful. Watch out for GameStop. Watch out for GameStop. Did my stream freeze? Oh, no, it's okay. All right. So, related to that, actually, we should go to the next one. Hopefully that helps. And then all I do on BlackBerry is, if you're really, really concerned about the price, is go intraday and really look at the price itself, the trend change. Because it went from downtrend. This is like the APX, right? It's downtrending, and then this is what we got to see. We got to see it go sideways. This is for every downtrend. Sideways, and then breakout. Trend change, right? Finding support, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So it's near here. It's not perfect at the support level. But the very close bull target would be $15, and then the very close support would be 13 on the bottom. So high, low. If we're going to break bull on BlackBerry, it should go to 15. If not, right, it might actually fall down to like 1258. Very, very short-term targets. Okay. The next stock, BSIT, I've never looked at that before. Is it this? BSIT 100? Is this the Turkish index? The Turkey index? Hold on, let me look this up. BIST 100 index. Just make sure Istanbul. Okay. That's what you meant. I see. Okay, so this is probably the correct one. The Istanbul index. Great. Here we go. So what I would do is, what I recommend is just getting the resistance and the support levels going on. Okay, so big resistance, I'm on a weekly chart, 1565, 1565. Okay, and then the support down here. This kind of reminds me of gold for some reason, this chart. Okay, because you had that double bottom and then the failed double bottom. Because this was supposed to go up. There's a pattern here. It's supposed to go 7% up, which would have been the top side target. the bull target in the weekly. Okay. But if it fails, it would come back down to support. So these are the two big levels: 1339, 1339, and 1565. Right. And then there's that middle resistance where it just got rejected from 1458. Okay. So it went from an uptrend. This is weekly now. I'm looking high, low, high, and then lower, low, lower, high, but finding support. But still almost a higher high, right? Okay, ISBTR. Is it this? Okay. So we'll go to this one now. Hopefully this is the right thing you're talking about. ISBTR. Um, there's not much volume, but so I have to look at it at a line chart. There's not much volume. So it is downtrending. Okay? It's downtrending. So here is the downward sloping trend line. Like this, okay? It did find support down here, but this is downtrending, definitely. It used to be uptrending in 2019 to mid 2020. It used to high, low, high, low, high. Not anymore though. Lower, low, lower, high, lower, low. So we have to be just objective, and you can see with the angle too. It's this angled up and this angled down on the weekly. So is there a setup? Not quite. It doesn't look quite ready to pop up yet. What I would watch for is the larger index that we just looked at, the BIST 100, BSIT 100. I would look at that, and then look at this one, both, because it probably, if that's the index, it's like America. If the BSIT 100 has to go up, this stock will probably rise up as well. And the company fundamentals as well. But bull case, right? Because this is so choppy. It looks like something's building, but it's so choppy in terms of it looks like it just pops up whenever something else happens in the world. But I'll still give you the target. So if it's going to pop up, right, it could pop up to here. And so what I would watch for is this trend line being broken. And it just barely did. Just baby breakout. So if that happens, then we have to just really get support and resistance. I'm going to draw a bunch here, several. 34260, 37561, 40862, 43631, like that. And the support on downside, 30639, 25959, like that. And so what has to happen is this used to be low, high, low. If it's going to break out, it needs to break out up. It just needs to get out of here, retest, and try to go up to one of these two targets. So I would watch that carefully. It could still break down. I've seen this before on the charts where it looks like it's going to go up, but if this is a real company and a real stock, if nothing good happens, the stock can just keep doing this, right? Because it just bounced, but it doesn't seem to go really, really low. RSI oversold. There's some momentum building, but on the weekly, but it's not really, really oversold like it was back in 2013-ish before it exploded up. So this one looks like it has some interesting correlation. So I would watch out for that. I hope that answered your question and gave you some kind of target on the upside as well. So maybe a really good day, 7 to 14%, maybe here or here. If not, it's going to go down more to here. Okay, next one, TLM. Let's see, what is TLM? Talisman Mining Limited. Okay, oh, it's Australian. Okay, Australian stock or company. All right, so what I would do, here we go. So here's the real key too. If you just look at it daily, you can get really confused and think this is the only, on the chart you could say, oh, this is the only thing right here. But you have to go weekly. Weekly, right? Let's look at everything. I want to see the whole life of this company, and the story is already telling me in my mind on the charts. So right here, I'm seeing it is in a weekly uptrend technically, right? It's going up, but now it's starting to pull back for the past 1 or 2 weeks. You know, there's a lot of lines. I have to change to a line chart so I could draw something. Right here, there's a trend line on the bottom side, and then there's a trend line closing it on the top side. So now you have real support and resistance levels to play off of. This kind of reminds me of the Dow Jones index, sort of, right? This upward sloping action. Let me hide the Fibonacci. Just this, just having this alone, and because of the gap up, this is a very, very strong support level. Not very, very strong, but it's strong. It's there. It was retested 2 or 3 times, and it's holding above that for now. Probably related to um, the minerals, the metals industry. Okay. So this company, apparently, according to my trading view, says it has earnings in 2 weeks from now. So I would definitely watch out for that. It's attempt to enter at 20 or 20 cents. So let's see, right now it's 17. Right now it's 0.17. And if we just really trust and believe in the trend line, a really good entry spot, or not the best, but right, maybe say if they have bad earnings for whatever reason, then somewhere in the here 10 cent to 12 cent, just like this lower support range, might be a good entry. Okay, thank you for clarifying. But still, this is a good example though. If where's the support? Just right here. So that would be for bulls. That would be the smart entry. Not up here. That's resistance up here on the top. So still a good example. Okay, there's TLM. Yes. So just on a side note, in America, USA, um, after Binance, what happened with Binance in 2019 summer and fall, a lot of American US people had to come back to domestic exchanges. So we cannot trade a lot of the altcoins in internationally. We're not allowed to anymore legally. So, or actually, the Binance basically kicked us all off, so we had to move. So now people just trade legally on the U.S. exchanges. So just side note. So here we go. TLM, USDT, the crypto. Here's the thing, because this is such a newer altcoin, right? This price action, let's just check Bitcoin like back to back, right? If we keep this snapshot in our mind, this is July at the bottom low right here where my mouse cursor is, and then we go to TLM. The July low literally was right here, so it pulled back. No, I'm saying for international, Binance is totally fine to trade for anybody internationally. It's just US. Um, we all received a notice from Binance saying they're, because of regulatory legal compliance, that they're going to they started Binance US division. And so we all had to move to Binance US exchange. And so we don't have hundreds of altcoins available to us anymore legally. So basically, international exchanges is for international, anyone not in US. That's basically what happened in the history of crypto 2019. Um, so for this, it's very, very correlated with Bitcoin. Okay, it's not perfect, but you can see the psychology of Bitcoin. When Bitcoin had its rally, this had a continuation rally, but consolidated while Bitcoin went up, and then we still had to pull back down. So there is still a resistance here. You could see it in that blue line right here at 37 USDT cents, right? So then there's also another resistance up here, and then a support and support, and the big resistance to the all-time high, 75 cents. So what happened is it tried to have this nice pattern and break out. If that was upside down head and shoulders right here, this is a neckline. This was supposed to go, if technical analysis went perfect, 200% to the upside, but it did not. And so this amount of consolidation to me kind of negates, cancels this pattern, right? Because in the trend, it should have went high, low, high, higher, low, and broke out way up there like that. That would have been the 200% target, 75 cents. Here, the blue circle, but it failed. And then we'd set a resistance point at 37 cents. So now I would start looking for retracement, because even this sideways action could be some kind of reversal signal in itself, right? So, oops, that's backwards. Here we go, right? Fibonacci, it's at the 50%. It went 618, 50%. It should have bounced higher, but again, this is the high correlation with Bitcoin right now. This looks exactly like Bitcoin these last 3 days. So to give a bull and bear target, so if bull target first, if we're going up, this should bounce and retest one of these, 22 cents or 26 cents on the top side, because this holds the resistance square zone. If not, lower low, lower high, lower low. If it just sets the lower high right now, then we're testing the bottom side of that support, 18 cents. If it's really bad, we'll go 13 cents. If it's really, really bad, 10 cents and back to all-time lows if the whole crypto market nonstop crashes. But I would just play these three levels right now. And just, we have to understand that it's not really uptrending anymore. High, low. A lot of altcoins are not on the daily. But if you zoom in, let's see if we zoom in on a 5-minute. What's the price trend? Literally looks just like Bitcoin. Almost every altcoin. I'll show you an example though of altcoins that are not looking like this. Because this is consolidation. So if you just came in later in the stream, this is what I have with Bitcoin as well. Lower low, lower high, lower low, crash. And then right here is the pivot point, trying to reverse, fail, tighten up equilibrium again, tighten. So nobody, what that is just market indecision. Nobody really knows, and nobody really wants to put all their money in right now or large amounts of trades. It's not just El Salvador. It's basically, even if we don't think about all those news, it still was though, because if you were awake at the time of Wall Street, right when that bearish news came out, Bitcoin immediately started selling off on a 1-minute, 5-minute chart. So that was the catalyst, a sell the news event, but the negative cascade were all those other 5 reasons. This chart, again, altcoins do not exist in the universe by itself. They are ruled by Bitcoin. They're ruled by Bitcoin and Ethereum and the top like 3, 4, 5 coins. But Bitcoin is the king of crypto. It's the top. So if Bitcoin suddenly were to crash in the next couple of days, -10, -20, 30, 40, 50, 60% down, you bet a lot of altcoins are probably going to crash. There's going to be like 1 or 2 that won't, because everyone piles into those. But this literally, because Bitcoin crashed, literally that's why TLM and everything, almost every crypto crashed, except for a couple. And I'll show you an example of those. So all you have to do is, even if you don't believe me, and I understand why, is if you just bring up the Bitcoin chart and then compare it to everything else and just look at all the time frames, you'll just see it looks almost the same. Yeah, reverse leverage as well. So again, the leverage traders liquidated longs. Longs got liquidated. I saw the news, something like 400 billion US dollars got wiped off, liquidated just like the positions, their money is gone. So that contributed to the Bitcoin crash as well. Anyways, TLM right here, you'll see the downward slope, right? Okay, it tried to rally up, but consolidating to the sideways right now. So for TLM, if you're looking at very, very short term, right here, maybe that article got it wrong. Maybe it was 400 million. Yeah, because 200 billion sounds ridiculous. But let me check. Let me check. I'm looking at the market cap right now. So I want to give out accurate information. I don't want to give out false information. Let me see here. Let's see here. Another screen. So on this chart, it really is 300 billion US dollars negative from the top of the crash to the bottom of the crash. So it's basically 300 billion dollars on the market cap in US dollar volume. It was 300 it was 2.3 trillion and the bottom of the crash was 2.08 trillion. So $300 billion got wiped out on the globe. Liquidated longs. So that's why we had such a bad crash. So just want to get the accurate data out there. Okay. So that's TLM. Who asked for TLM? That's basically it. It is at a support level right now. So what needs to happen is it needs to find the support right here and bounce. It needs to bounce up. So the bull targets, again, resistance support. And then you just watch for this $300 billion in losses total globally of the total global cryptocurrency market cap in US dollar volume. It went from $2.3 trillion down to $2.08 trillion. So negative $300 billion losses total on this one day of Bitcoin. So on the one red day, that big red candle was $300 billion losses. This one right here. So pretty significant. So now we can understand why people are not coming back in. If everybody got hurt, right, in their account, then nobody really wants to buy right now. It's going to take some time to recover. But shorts, though, what I'm concerned about are shorts might take advantage of this and say, hey, there's nobody buying. Let's just short it. Futures, options, shorts might try to push it down next week. Okay, I'm going to end soon in 7 minutes because I'm going to get ready for the stock trading day. Maybe 5 minutes. So this is probably the last request, unless somebody has like a super fast last request. So audio USDT. All right, audio USDT. Remember, it's tracking Bitcoin. $4.17. 340 resistance on the top. So again, the daily trend is went from uptrend and now it's downtrending. This is confirmed downtrend on audio USDT. Confirmed. So it kind of reminds me some of these other ones, altcoins. You know what I mean? The upward trend line, right? So it looks like it wants to, this X marks the spot. I always like to do this when you get trend lines at support levels and it makes some kind of spot where the support would be down here. So very quickly, it crashed down into support. So this is actually, if somebody's really paying attention to this coin, is it crashed right down into the support, and that's the play. You just buy the support if you want to risk some, right? Not financial advice, right? But that's basically what it is. But the problem is it's bull flagging right now. So if BTC goes down, I'm expecting this to probably pull back down to the 189. If BTC goes up, higher high, higher low, it's probably gonna rally up, right? To like $4, 350, $4. So I'd watch out for that. And then if you want to make sure, okay, how do I not miss the move? Just look at the inside day price action. Right. It is short-term uptrending, so it looks like this target's going to be like 260, 270 on the top side. High, low, high, low, high. Right. Well, okay, first off, this is not financial advice. Like everyone needs to make their own decision. Everyone's responsible for their own trades and their trading account. This is just I'm trying to use real-time examples as educational for hypothetical analysis and education. So I'm not telling everybody to buy or sell. This is not what this stream is. Just to make it 100% clear. It's just technical analysis education. So I'm just going to call this a support level, $2. I'm going to call this a resistance level up here. That's probably all I should say about that. It's just the support and resistance. So it's just if we think about the two cases, meaning bull versus bear, if it's bull, it would just continue to go up and probably retest the upper 260, 279 range, just like these other 4 times it did over here. But if it fails, let's say it could even touch it and fail and come down, then it would probably end up at the 190 or 180 range, which is the bottom support test several times, 2, 3, 4 times on the bottom. So I hope that helps. Again, this is not financial advice, just education. Okay. Next one. Could you be a little more descriptive about the last name, please? DC ASX or Bet ASX? Like, I'm not sure what these are. So you have to be very, very clear about like what. I know what the ASX is, but what does DC or Bet mean? Okay, so there's Bet here, BET on the ASX exchange, and there's DC on the ASX exchange. So which one? Let's pick one. All right. Yeah, so if you type it helps me if you do it like this. You could just say BET or like BET ASX exchange. That would help me a little bit faster because it's a foreign exchange for me. But it's okay. So okay, yeah, let's do bet because that one's easier to find. So bet makers. So casino gaming play. Okay. So first thing I would do here is check the trend on the weekly. Check the trend on the weekly. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Okay, so right here, yes, it made a higher high, it pulled back, and it's trying to make either a lower high or a higher low on the price. This is very, very critical of what happens in the next coming weeks for BET on the ASX exchange. Earnings is far away, but it's in the casinos gaming industry, right? And so those laws are probably different in your country than it is mine. So what's happening in the industry. So I'll watch out for that very, very closely. But we can tighten the upward sloping trend line. So 2 scenarios just on a long-term chart. There is a support here at 74 or 43 cents and resistance 156 by resistance at like 2. And what needs to happen is high low, high low. What could happen is bear case. It could pull back down into the support, which is like 78 cents here or so. There is some kind of strange baby upside down head and shoulder. So to see that really coming to play, this chart reminds me strangely of Tesla chart. I was just looking at Tesla. Oh, is that what they're doing? They're expanding into your country. Okay. So this looks weird. So maybe this is why it turned into upside down head and shoulders, because maybe that's some kind of bullish news if they're expanding into Australia, this company, or expanding into your country. So I would watch out for this. Okay, so the bull case for this, if you measure this upside down head and shoulder, technically, okay, um, is strangely 46% to the upside. Okay, so where's that target? Basically, where we put our support on the top side, just under $2 Australian dollars. Just in this box up here, because that's the resistance target and the trend line target. So just somewhere up here. Oh, in USA? Okay. Okay. It's kind of hard to tell like what country people are from on the stream. So $2, 188, right? Very interesting. Very interesting. Um, and if that happens, probably we'll hit that target. But if it doesn't, because just always prepare yourself for the downside, right? Could fall back down to dollar, could fall back down to 84, right? So very interesting, right? But this is still a bullish pattern, but you have to remember this BET stock, it doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's literally inside the ASX index. So whatever the ASX does has probably greater than 50% chance of affecting BET. Also, there's the casino gaming industry as well. And then the casino gaming stocks and laws in your country and my country, right? So there's a lot of moving parts to this. But if you just think about the price action that is there, it's kind of strange that when low, lower high, lower low, lower high, it probably could have failed down here, but it didn't. So that's why maybe this target's not in play so much anymore. It's higher high, higher low, higher high. So then a higher low pullback is basically happening right now. So the next question is, are we going to make a higher high on BET? That's the question. So intraday would be the clue. And there is that inside day trend line building. So as long as it's uptrending, that's fine. It's fine. But it looks like it's retesting the neckline right now. So if it pulls back, I would not be surprised on this stock right here. That's the neckline. So if it's going to pull back down into it before it goes up, that's a setup that usually happens. So this kind of really looks like Tesla chart a little bit. Just the upside down head and shoulders, like a rally into this upside down head and shoulders, and Tesla's been rallying. But it's not in the same industry. Like this setup happened on Tesla recently, right? So even if you draw the wedge like this, it's still a breakout and a retest might happen before it goes up. Interesting. Interesting. So yes, that's basically the technical analysis for BET. And the stock market's going to open soon, so I'm going to have to hop off to the trade desk. So all I'll say is thanks so much, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, participating, chatting, and thank you for the coins as well on TradingView. Really appreciate it. So this is just the educational analysis stream only, and I am streaming live on TradingView right now, YouTube, and Twitch. We also have a free Discord chat group. If anybody just wants to join, it's in my social media link in my profile. And I'm trying to stream on the weekends here on the US. This week was very special because of what happened with crypto. I'm just going live basically every day this week. But my normal schedule is Saturday on the US time frame. So if you want to join that Discord, it's in the social media profile link. And again, thank you so much, everybody. I hope everybody has a great trading day. Happy trading, happy investing, and going into our weekend. Hope you have a nice weekend as well. And